Why do you want to buy this game? This is just a reskin of Battlefield. They're just milking your cash. EA's turned, man. What's going on, guys? My name's About, and I've been reading comments like this for a while, doing some coverage of this game. I've seen it hands-on. This is not a copy of Battlefield. In fact, I think some of the more hardcore players that are really into Battlefield, really into FPS shooters, might not even be super thrilled about this game. If you've been following a lot of the details for Star Wars Battlefront, you might know some of this stuff, but I'm going to kind of go through some of the differences between this game and Battlefield, your classic military first-person shooter. EA is the one developing this game, in particular DICE, the same developers as Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, so there's some concern from people that this is just going to be a copy of what you're playing in Battlefield, reskinned, made to look like, you know, Star Wars, and then put into that fashion. And from everything I've seen from this, from all the information that's been released, the game modes, even just the actual mechanics of the gameplay, there are some similarities. You know, you have your classic shooter, you've got air warfare, ground vehicles, massive scale maps from what we could tell, the different equipment and gadgets you can bring onto the battlefield, although all shooters seem to have something like that nowadays. The incredible graphics, but so much is different in terms of the actual feel of the game, and I've been able to see this, play it, and here's some of the differences from what I can tell. And I could be completely wrong about this. I don't know, dude. This is just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments if you completely hate me and disagree. But the first thing I want to talk about is vehicles and map size. We have some similarities with that, like I talked about before, but what's different is how you play in these. You do have a dedicated fighter squadron game mode where everybody is all in starfighters fighting against each other. There's a difference when you want to actually play in it, though. If you wanted to go into a conquest game, domination type game, where essentially you're capturing flags, defending points while you're slaying and doing a team deathmatch type game, in Battlefield, you just go into that vehicle and you could spend the entire game, hell, you could spend the entire night even fighting infantry while you're in those vehicles, honing your skills, getting better at it. That's something that really provides a longevity with these games, as well as a lot of things you're going to hear me talk about here. That is a reason why people are still playing Battlefield 4, hell, still playing Battlefield 3 and other previous games. They can hone their skills and get good with it, choosing what they want to use. If you're playing a Call of Duty or something, you have to, you know, hone your skills getting kills to then unlock these kill streaks to use abilities like that. But in Battlefield, you're going in the back, spawning in with these vehicles. In Battlefront, if you want to use these things, you have to pick them up completely random by tokens spread across the map. And when you find a token, it's not necessarily going to be what you were looking for. It could be a Jedi that you're going to play as. It could be an airship, driving the AT-AT walker, no, not driving it, shooting missiles out of the AT-AT walker, a small AT-ST, little walker tank that you can get into. At least that's what we know of so far. To me, this doesn't cater to somebody who really wants to play this game a whole lot, get hundreds of hours of good gameplay, getting really good at these things. This caters to more the casual player who's going to come on for maybe 2 or 3 games, can hop in, get a couple kills, maybe not do super good, pick up the Jedi, start slashing some people's heads off with some triple kills. But I don't think it's going to be quite that easy. But regardless, it's going to be a lot easier than if you had to really hone in skills, which is something that historically more hardcore gamers, quote-unquote, I think, prefer to do. You could say, well, making it random makes it even more longevity because you have to keep playing it to actually try and get these things. But from my past experience, I put on a specific kill streak I want to earn. If I want to go fly in a jet, I get in the jet and go fly it. Some randomness can be fun, but if the whole aspect of special abilities is completely left up to chance, that to me feels more newbie. The reason for that, as well as I feel like a lot of these other choices, that this is Star Wars. Like, this is catering to a much larger audience than just the Battlefield guys or the first-person shooter in general. And this is something that, you know, DICE, EA, they've been coming out with a yearly Battlefield for a while, and this year they're not having one. Maybe not exactly yearly, but for the most part, this year they're doing and mainly focusing on Star Wars Battlefront. So there's a kind of a gap there. Maybe people are going to start playing some other games. I think some of the people who are more hardcore into that might not be as happy with it. And just the system of even deploying down, you're not going to have classes that you go in as with meds and things like that. This is a setup where you get 3 star cards that you can go in with. That's different grenades. You have jetpack orbs that are kind of like shields that you could bring with you, and there's nothing that's tying you to a specific class. I'm not saying that this game is going to be completely void of skill, though. In fact, something that I think that was really cool that they're adding is something that was similar to Gears of War had, which is a skill reload. As you shoot these guns, you're going to have infinite ammo, and you can just let that little bar in the middle cool down as you're shooting, or if it completely overheats, you have to wait for the thing to go all the way back down rather than just kind of balancing it in the middle. Something they added, though, is if you completely overheat it, as those bars come back down, you can time the reload right when it gets to those yellow bars, and then finish the rest of the cooldown immediately. Now, I don't know how that's going to factor in versus a 10-year-old kid with a lightsaber that just randomly picked it up, slicing you, but, you know, people don't rage when they play games. Plus, the entire aspect of first-person and third-person being identical. You can be in third-person sitting behind a rock and looking around it just because you're in third person. You don't have to have the trade-off of poking your head around the corner and risking your character's health, risking your character's life, possibly dying from peeking around the corner, seeing if there's enemies there. No, you can just stay behind the rock and peek over by going to third person, which if you're a third-person shooter fan, awesome. But that's not historically what Battlefield's been doing, and this is going to completely shift the way this game is played. The amount of competitiveness associated with this, then, I feel is going to be a lot lower. And this is when people start saying, well, you're going to have an advantage being in first person because you're going to be more accurate. Nope. Doesn't matter. You can be in first or third person. You can be aimed down sight. You don't have to be. From what we know so far, it doesn't matter how you're aimed. It's just going to be consistent. Then you have the fact that there's so many more unique, different gadgets in this space futuristic, per se, warfare, although it's a long, long time ago. You know, you have these laser blasters that are exploding. You have airstrikes that you can call in, bubble shields you can put down, jetpacks you can launch with. Already you can see there are some similarities for sure, but there's a lot of differences. This game's not going to feel the same as Battlefield. Those are all key components to a shooter, and that's going to feel very different when you're playing this game. Not necessarily that it's a bad thing, not that it's a good thing either, it's just different. A lot of times there's not too much crossover, especially with viewers or hardcore viewers of PC Battlefield and Call of Duty. I know that from uploading both of those games to my YouTube channel. But this game finds a middle ground somewhere in there to be a little bit more arcade-like. With Call of Duty, you know, you have this more fast-paced, crazy aspect versus your more giant, epic explosions and epic battles from Battlefield. And some of you guys might have been smashing your head against your keyboard, yelling at me, well, this is Battlefront, dude. This isn't Battlefield. I just wanted to make this comparison because I do have a lot of Battlefield viewers. A lot of people nowadays are much more associated with Battlefield since it's been so long since we've seen a Battlefront. I've played Battlefront 1, Battlefront 2 back in the day, dude. I remember around 6th, 7th grade, I was playing this game. You guys heard me talk about this, but you are right. This game is Battlefront. It's not necessarily Battlefront 3. It's not a continuation from those old games. This is a revamp of this incredibly popular shooter series. That being said, though, if you do remember those games, and you're the one saying this, the previous Battlefronts, in particular Battlefront 2, is much more similar to Battlefield than this new Battlefront will be compared to Battlefield. When you look at Battlefront 2, you had dedicated classes. You had a sniper class. Hell, you had a resupply class that would drop health and ammo for you. There's not even going to be ammo in the new Battlefront. Even the vehicle system was more similar, being able to hop in and out for the most part freely. If you want to get out of vehicles in the new Battlefront, you hold down the button for a few seconds and you spawn back at the original spawn location. You don't just hop out and parachute down. or land on the battlefield somewhere, get out, capture the objective, and can get back in. In my eyes, I don't see this as a copy of Battlefield. I don't see it as a copy of the previous Battlefront. This is a redesigned game catered to the masses that is going to be a lot of fun to play. And when you look at games nowadays, you might even think that this game's too simple. But if you look at games that are really popular, it's because they cater to so many people. League of Legends, a simple game on the same exact map every time. CSGO, the most popular map, is played a billion times. Simplicity and being able to pick it up easily makes the game an easy pickup and an easy purchase, which can lead to a lot more complexity in the future. Same thing with Call of Duty, dude. They've just been stacking more and more complexity into that, which I can easily see them doing in future Battlefronts. Is that what they're trying to do with this? Create an easy base game to get a massive amount of people into it and then develop the series? I don't know. A bit of a long-winded video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Click a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. Being a person that's very hyped for this game, I'm really interested in what you guys are thinking about this, and if this opened you guys up and saw this in a different light, or maybe just turned you off to the game completely. Subscribe if you're new. Check out my recommended video to get yourself a copy of Battlefront and a giveaway I'm doing over my Top Play show, or check out the previous video to hear some more about Battlefront Beta. Thanks so much for watching, though, and I'll see you guys soon. This is StoneMount64, over and out.